Well, hello. I want to welcome you to another episode of Pen Reviewing, which I should get a title for this one of these days. But I'm going to do something different today. Instead of talking about a pen, I'm going to talk about a notebook. Now, I have the back cover of the notebook up right now. This is an UberWorks prototype. I misidentified this the first time I showed it to you as a prototype notebook. Little did I know that's actually the name of the notebook. Now, I received this because I don't do corporate sponsorships or anything like that. I just do this because pens are fun. I'm not looking to make money at this or anything, and I'm definitely not looking for free samples. But this was sent to me about the time my Aurora 88 was smushed in the mail by the same company. They're starting a line of notebooks, so I think it was half apology. But anyway, my UberWorks or myuberpens.com will. Wow, I'm really messing this up. myuberpens.com is going to give you all the different notebooks that are available, and they are starting a website, which I haven't explored real deeply, but they're doing it. This here is the prototype. It's a hardcover notebook. A little bit of paint around the outside. I know there's a name for it. It's just not coming to me right now. Sticker I put on the cover, elastic closure. There's a little bookmark in it. Kind of nice. And they claim it's supposed to be fountain pen friendly. Now it arrives in a cardboard slipcase. Of course, to write with it, I took it out, and I've not used the slipcase since. I suppose this protects it. It also comes with a little wraparound, which I'll give you a close-up of that, and then it comes with information. So let's look at the little wraparound first, then we'll get into the notebook and the information. So the little wraparound is just giving you some information about the notebook. The paper's from responsible sources. It's thread bound, which that's different from glue bound. Glue bound pages do tend to fall out over time, especially as the glue gets old and brittle. If you own any old paperbacks, you've noticed that. Lay flat, which means when you open it, it actually will lay flat. There are some perforated pages in the back if you've ever had a bound notebook and you're like, oh, I just want to write this down and take it out and give it to you, but I can't because it's sewed in place. Now you can. Index page, a feature I like, gives the weight of the paper. That's what I really want to talk about, fountain pen approved. What do I want in a notebook? Well, I write with fountain pens. I'd like the ink to not feather all over the place. I'd like it to not soak through. And I'd like it to dry reasonably quickly so that when I close it, it doesn't smear all over. There's a size I like. This is a bit smaller than the size, but it's within the range I'll accept. And yeah, fast dry, 3 to 7 seconds. Beige paper. I've actually learned that's kind of nice. Folder pocket, I don't care. Stickers, the elastic. Elastic, I don't care either. The stickers inside, that was... the cover. There's 2 stickers, and I had a little trouble finding them. Acid-free paper if you keep your notebook for a long time. Built-in pen loop is in some notebooks, not necessarily these. And then more information here. There's the website if you really want to go there, myuberworks.com. I'll try to remember to put it in there. So they're given the sizes and the different types of paper they have available. I'm kind of a standard size guy. The B5 notebooks is what I like. And then just some more stuff. And finally a little piece where they didn't write stuff. And then they also give you this big long letter to go with the notebook. These are apparently made in Serbia in Europe. And on the back here, it just mentions how to use the stickers because there's 2. And a little bit about how to use the Sheet ID page. So, yeah. Okay. So let me tell you why I care about the dry time first. This is my Midori Traveler's Notebook. I use it kind of as a bullet journal. Let's just go with February. Smeared. Imprint from the opposite page. Now, very nice with bleed through and all that, but yeah, so the ink just does not dry quickly on this paper if I don't use the right brand of ink, which is annoying. So let's take a look at this notebook now, because this is the one I'm actually reviewing. So yes, focus it. Due to the optics, you probably can't see the sticker here. But nice elastic closure, which, for me, that's not really that important. Hardcover. You open it. Put a title here. I'm planning a series of videos on physics notebooks. Physics topics this summer. So this is kind of my thinking notebook. More stuff. I kind of like, the classy look to the inside here, where it's gray and it's painted on the end covers. I kind of did some random writing in different inks just to see what I thought. And then they have a little box for page numbers. So I have the blank, but again, I didn't buy it. This was given to me. Now here we start to see a problem. There's definitely some show through here. The top ink is Noodler's Periwinkle, which, I'll be honest, is not that great of an ink. This one, I don't remember what this one is. And then this down here was Rohrer and Klingner Helianthus with a Esterbrook. There's a big nib, I don't remember what the nib was. And then I have Noodler's Black at the bottom. Well, Noodler's Black behaves, but all the others did not. Interesting. Here I'm using Noodler's Rattler Eel Red, and I don't remember this color. Again, bleeding. So here, I'm fairly certain this is Noodler's Black, and it behaves. But one of the other things you'll notice, he has these sheet ID things at the bottom, because the pages are not numbered. Let me zoom in on it. So sheet ID things, sorry about the gray spot right there. Somebody mentioned it and said, clean your lens. Well, I can't. That is a thing with this camera. It's on the sensor. But anyway, sheet ID here. Now you turn the page. They don't have one on the back. So it occurs to me to wonder, are they expecting that I'll only write on one side? I don't know. Or do they think, I'll limit my sheets to one topic? Here's why. In the back of the notebook, give it something to focus on here in a minute. In the back of the notebook, you have where you can write down like sheet ID. So I did page numbers. I guess if I'm more artistic, I could do something crazier. Just a quick, what's that page about? And yeah, not much written in here. I've been busy, but I thought since these are new notebooks, I'd like to show them to you. But yeah, that's what this gives me a chance to do. Just a quick summary. So I like that. A little table of contents. Here's the rest of it. So I have something for every page in the notebook. Here's the pocket in the back. The stickers come in it, which is not immediately clear. When you open the notebook, there's the sticker I took out. Here's one I haven't used yet. I was actually searching for them, but they're right here in this pocket. So if you need a pocket, there you go. Here on this page, you can, and it's really not showing up. Let's try getting closer. I focus all over the place. Let's block the really bright light. Maybe that'll work. Yeah, it's perforated anyway. So I can't show you a notebook without writing with it. So let's do some writing on this tear out page. So I have a whole bunch of pens. In fact, I'm thinking, just to be different, I'm going to film my pens in use on this page. And that pen has no ink in it, so I'm not going to even bother. Okay, so let's do this. I will film my pens in use, and then I'll come back to you and finish the review. Well, hello. I want to welcome you to another exciting episode of Pens in Use. I'm going to do something different this week. I was in the process of filming my review of the Uberworks prototype notebook, and it should be posted by now. And I thought, I need to do some writing in the notebook. And I thought, I've got to use a lot of different pens. Well, why not do my pens in use in this notebook? So here it is. So I have a small collection out, as always. So no nice pen tray there to lay them in, so we'll just go with this. From the top, this is a Parker 21. Or 45, I forget. I feel silly. Parker 21. I'll talk about that briefly. in a minute. I have my Senator, which I still don't know what model it is. I have my Parker 51. I have my Pilot Pheromone, my Pilot Vanishing Point, my Aurora 88. My Central Pen is back. I have a Parker 45, and I have a Noodler's Conrad. So let's talk about the two Parkers first. All right, so the two Parkers were actually sent to me by a viewer. I don't know her username on YouTube, but I'll just say Sandra. That's her first name, and if I mispronounce that, I apologize. But she actually lives near Janesville, Wisconsin, and so she has all kinds of access to Parkers. Her family, apparently, a couple of them like to buy them up, fix them up, and give them away, or sometimes sell them. So she thought of me, and I think that's wonderful. So this is a Parker 45. I don't know much about it, but it's a Parker, it's a cartridge pen. This is a Parker 21, which is kind of the lower cost version of Parker 51. Now the Parker 21 is not inked up. One thing I found interesting with it is it doesn't have the distinctive arrow clip. I thought all Parkers had that. So I learned something just by her sending me this pen. So thank you. Now, as I said, I'm doing this in my this notebook rather than my usual notebook. So this week I've got a Parker 45. The ink in this pen is Parker Quink Black. And it's just a cartridge. I don't usually do cartridges, but I also don't own a Parker converter. Semi-hooded nib. It's not a real exciting looking pen. It's nice. I kind of like the contrast of the gold clip and the silver barrel. But it writes really well, and it starts right out. Boom, just like that when I pull it out. So nice. And by the way, now if I write on it with another pen here, this is my Senator, whatever. And my ink is, yes, I need to look it up because it's a complicated name that I'm not familiar with. Kyonuto. Aonibi, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. And again, a little bit there, but you saw how long I gave it before I smeared it. This is my Parker 51. And the ink is Diamine Syrah. Pretty quick, wouldn't you say? This is my Pilot, because Parker doesn't make one of these. Pilot Vanishing Point. It has a medium nib. Again, Kyonoto ink. With a complicated name that I don't know. Yamabukiro. Not bad. Here is a Aurora 88. Of course, the vintage one, because the modern ones are way out of my budget. Aurora 88 with Noodler's Black. And let me just briefly tell you one of my frustrations I had with Noodler's Black when I first started buying it is very slow to dry. So I'd write on these notebook pages with my fountain pen and then close them and then I open them and I've got ghosting, or not ghosting, where it's smeared on the opposite page. It actually performs very well on this paper. Now, what you saw on the Midori was actual smearing. All right, this is another ink that can be slow to dry. This is my Pilot Fermo. I'm not going to give it as long before I swipe. Not bad. And let's see, I have two more here. This is Noodler's Conrad, but I put a re-entry nib in it. And since we were killing two birds with one stone with this video, here's a close-up of what a re-entry nib actually looks like. I think that's very attractive. Now, I have found that these nibs are a little bit dry, and down the road we'll do a review of them. But anyway, that's what's in here. So, Noodler's Conrad with a re-entry nib. They're made by Nemosine, by the way. And I don't remember the size. But the ink, I do remember, is Noodler's. Apache Sunset. And let's see, it looks like I have one more. I saved it for the end because this is the cool pen. This is my Centro pen. We'll just marvel at that glorious celluloid again. This one does not go to work, and this is quite honestly the nicest pen I have ever owned. It does, it's not a daily writer by any means. This is kind of a special pen for special writing. And so Centro Pen 100820. The ink is Ackerman. And I don't really recall the color off the top of my head, but it's a 26 is the number on it. So those are the pens I'm using this week. Now, since this is a combined video, let's look at the back. No ghosting. No ghosting. A little bit of ghosting, but not a lot. Or bleed through, I guess is the word I want. Not ghosting, because ghosting is the fact that I can see it. Tiny, tiny bit of bleed through. More bleed through actually on the Noodler's Black, which surprises me. Same with the Noodler's Green. Apache Sunset, except for two dots behaved. And the Centro pen, crazy. So I would say that this notebook gives a fair amount of bleed through. It's just, I don't know, I think this will be more of a one-side writer deal. I don't know what else to say. I like the notebook, you know, whether I will buy more or not, I kind of doubt, because these nice notebooks like this are nice for certain purposes. I don't usually do those purposes. Like, I don't do journals of deep thoughts. I write novels, but I want a cheap piece of notebook that I can just carry anywhere and I don't care what happens to it. I don't want a really super nice notebook for that. You know, it's got to be able to handle fountain pens, but that's about all. And I'll have to talk about the type of notebook I use for that one of these days. So this isn't good for that. Honestly, I wouldn't have used it for this physics idea, except I was just like, well, I want to try this notebook out, so this is the notebook I put it in. I do like this table of contents idea. That's good. I like that it has some stickers so I can actually write on the cover. A lot of my notebooks, I can't do that. I do like that the ink is reasonably fast drying on the paper, because I don't like that smearing that you get otherwise. Like Tomoe River paper, awesome paper for fountain pen inks. Not so much in a notebook, because the pages smear. So I don't know, and you know, they're at a price premium that's a bit much for me for a notebook. Now, if it's something special, like I've been doing my writing samples in a nice Apica notebook, which I like, by the way. I've been doing my pens in use normally in this notebook, which is a nice notebook. Half bought it for the cover. I for something special, maybe. I don't really journal, so I don't need a nice notebook for deep thoughts. I have my bullet journal in my Midori. That seems to work pretty well. I just, yeah. And that's not an attack at Uber pens. I mean, there is a market for this type of notebook. I'm just not in that market. Is it a nice notebook? Yes. But I think the only thing I would caution you is remember, depending on the ink, you may only be able to write on one side of the paper. And if that doesn't bother you, which a lot of people, actually that's what they do, is they only write on one side of the paper. And actually in some ways that can be convenient, because you write your main stuff on one side of the paper, and then on the back side you can put notes and edits and ideas and things about what's on the front side of the paper. So depending on the kind of your working you're doing, that may actually come in handy. And now that I say that, I'm thinking I may actually do that with this whole physics thing. So we'll see. But anyway, thank you, Uber Pens, for sending that to me. I do appreciate it, and I bear no grudge about the Smushed Aurora 88. You made it right, and then some, so thank you. And I thank all of you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this combination pens in use and notebook review. So we'll see you all later. Bye-bye.